There's one thing that all national champion contenders over the last 15 years have had in college football, and that is an incredible defensive line. Let's look at the college football teams in 2026 that I think have the best. At 5, I got Ohio State. They got Jackson and Houston back up front from a year ago. They also brought in a handful of key pieces like Smith from the University of Alabama. And with that schedule, it is of the utmost importance that this defensive line can stop the run. And I think that's honestly what they'll be best at. They'll be able to apply pressure on the quarterback at a high level too. But I think that with the size that they're going to have at nose tackle and at D tackle, they're going to just obliterate blockers. I like Ohio State at 5. At 4, I got Indiana. They returned 3 of the top 4 guys on that defensive line from a year ago. They brought in this man from Kansas State, a guy who's led them now for 2 years at Kansas State at edge. And Indiana's going to start just where they left off a year ago. A year ago, I called them 11 nameless players because of how well they played together. That's a coaching thing, not a player thing. I trust Indiana's defense next year, and that starts up front. At 3, I got Texas. Colin Simmons is coming back. He's one of the best edges in all of college football. They got a transfer from Arkansas named The Wall. He weighs 387 pounds. That guy devours blockers. He devours just about anything. But they also have Will Muschamp now at defensive coordinator. That is a huge upgrade. I believe in the Texas defense, and that means I believe in their ability to get to the quarterback and stop the run. I think this front 4 will do that at a very high level. At 2, I got Miami. Lightfoot and Damon Wilson, who's transferring over from Missouri, need to step up and be ginormous impact players for Miami. I like their defensive tackle position. But my thing about Miami, especially under Mario Cristobal, that just violence was infused in the team a year ago. And I have a weird feeling that Mesidor and Bain infused that in the next guys coming up at Miami. There's a culture of how to play defense down there. And there's a culture what the top 4 guys at the line of scrimmage on defense have to do. And I think they're going to do exactly that. They're going to play with the same physicality and violence the team a year ago played. And I would be terrified if I had to block anybody up front on Miami. But my favorite defensive line heading into next year is Oregon. The Hawaiians up front, off the edge, both get to the quarterback at such a high level. Washington and Bear Alexander are just such enforcers in the middle. Oregon is one of those teams where I don't see too many weaknesses. I think they have a secondary that will allow these edges to look as talented as advertised. I think Oregon's defensive line is going to be a thing of beauty next year. My only worry a little bit is the depth, because they have a lot of star depth, but they don't necessarily have a ton of proven depth, which is really hard to have in college football. But overall, I really like Oregon's front 4 next year. If you made it this far, drop a follow, leave a like, and check out all the parts of this series that I made about the offense.